Grade 12, a trigonometric question again. If sine 36 is given as P, find cos 36, cos 72 degrees, sine 66 degrees in terms of P. What we do is we draw the diagram where 36 degrees is connected with that side P. So if I draw the y-axis and the x-axis like that, label x-axis, label y-axis, where they meet, that's the origin. 36 degrees is in the first quadrant, so I'm going to draw my arm in the first quadrant. This is 36 degrees. Remember, we always do inclination with the x-axis. You don't join to the y-axis. You join to the x-axis. So like this is 90 degrees. What we are given is that sine of 36 degrees is equal to P, which we can write as P over 1. 1 is an identity. If you divide anything by 1, it doesn't change. My aim is, because I know sine of an angle is opposite over hypotenuse, so I create a side of 1, which is going to be my hypotenuse in terms of the angle 36 degrees. So it means that P is going to be my opposite side and 1 is going to be my hypotenuse. Then I go to the diagram. The side which is opposite to angle 36 is this one. I shall call it P. The hypotenuse, I shall call it 1. That leaves me with a side that I don't know. Because it is along the x-axis, let me call it x. I am looking for the value of x. So Pythagoras says x squared plus p squared is equal to 1 squared. So x squared is equal to 1 squared minus p squared. X is equal to the square root of 1 squared minus p squared. I have ignored 1 squared. 1 squared is actually 1, so I have simplified it to that, and this is my expression, because the square of 1 is simply 1. Okay. This is positive because I am in the first quadrant. This is supposed to be positive. That is why even if I have taken plus or minus, I wouldn't take the minus because I am dealing with a positive x-axis there. So this is sufficient. That now comes in here, the square root of 1 minus p squared. Any other angle now can be resolved because I now know all the 3 sides of that triangle. Now, let's answer our questions. Cosine of 36 degrees is going to be easy to find. The cosine of 36 is now going to be equal to adjacent side divided by the hypotenuse side, which is simply the square root of 1 minus p squared over 1. But the 1 again is not very important, so that answers the first part of my question. Now when you come to cos of 72, what is the relationship between this angle 72 to the angle given? This angle is half of 72, or 72 is double 36. So immediately you must think about double angles. 72 is double of that. So remember, double angles, cos 2a is equal to 2 cos squared a minus 1, or 1 minus 2 sine squared a, or cos squared a minus sine squared a. All these things will be given in your formula sheet. But which one am I going to pick? Am I going to pick this one, or that one? I will go by the second one, because the second one is where I have sine a, which I am given. Of course, cosine, you have found it earlier on, but if you have made a mistake on finding this, the same error will be induced into the next question. So to avoid that, I better use this. So in that case, the cosine of 72 degrees shall shall be 1 minus 2 times the sine squared of A. But we have already found that sine is P, so that is going to be P squared. And then you simplify that, that is simply 1 minus 2P squared. That is your answer to that part. When it comes to the last part, I've got sine 66 degrees. What you must be very careful about is there is no very immediate connection. In this triangle, 36 should give me here 54 degrees. But 54, how is it related to that? It is not. So in that case, you think carefully. Can I get a special angle with which I will add another angle to get 66 degrees? Yes, we can. Actually, that is the way forward. So I'm going to write sine of 66 degrees as the sine of 36 degrees plus 30 degrees. The advantage being that if I am going to expand this, I'm going to get ratios of 30 degrees, and 30 degrees is a special angle, and we know the ratios of a special angle. So we are now going to expand this using the compound angles, and again that formula will be given. So it will be sine 36 degrees cos 30 degrees plus cos 36 degrees sine 30 degrees. Then you substitute. Wherever there is 36, you have information about 36. Wherever there is 30 degrees is a special angle. You should know what to substitute by. But what is important in this last part is how to break down the 66 into two components such that one of the angles is given, the other one is a special angle. Thank you very much. That's how you deal with such a question.